Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Talk to Me Thursday. I am so excited to have you here. Today we will be talking about some post-shooting mistakes when it comes to active shooters. So as you guys come in, as always, please let me know where you are joining from. And I just did a quick live on Instagram to let them know that I was coming over to YouTube and doing a live on YouTube. So if you guys have came over from Instagram, please let me know that you came over from Instagram. Hello, Yarn Dragons. How are you? Hello, Christopher Perry. How are you doing? Christopher said, I came over from Instagram. Hey, thanks for coming over. Hey, Marv. How are you? And if you're watching this video, feel free to share this video with someone that you love. I do want to share that tragically, there was another school shooting today. So if you did not hear about the school shooting, please let me know that you did not hear about it. We never like when these things happen, but they happen. So we definitely have to learn from them. And out of all the places that it happened, not to say that there's one good place for it to happen to, but it happened in California, and we know that their gun laws are pretty strict. Mike Sun said, I came over from Instagram. Thank you. Jordan said, oh my God. What are you saying? Oh my God for? Kermit loves bacon. Hello. Thank you for joining. I love bacon too. How can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me good? So I want to share with you all, I hope that you can hear me well, but for those of you who do not know who I am a firearms instructor, and I have been an instructor. At the end of this month, it will be for 11 years. So that has been my day-to-day job. And about a year and a half ago, I decided to start my own business teaching the average person how to handle firearms safely. So I teach men, women, and children how to protect themselves and proper gun safety. So if you are interested in getting firearms training, I'm your girl. I'm located in the Tampa Bay area in Florida. So if you're here, please let me know, and I would love to teach you. Shout out to all of my students that I have encountered over the year and a half. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of them, because I have had students come from all over. I've had a student come from Houston, Texas, and I've had a student come from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've also had a student come from Delaware. So I really appreciate, like from the bottom of my heart, everyone who trusts me to teach them how to, at the end of the day, it's how to protect yourself and your family. So if you're new to the channel and you did not know anything about me, maybe you'll just learn something about me. And I love what I do. I am a NRA certified instructor. I am a Glock Advanced Armor. I am a military firearms instructor as well. So this isn't just something that I do on the weekend. This isn't just something that I kind of dibble dabble in. This is literally my real life. And I want to bring my skills so that everyone can learn how to protect themselves, right? We got to be able to defend ourselves. Chris Bullis said loud and clear. Okay, great. You guys can hear me. So if I'm too loud, let me know if I'm too loud. But what do you guys think about the new setup on the live streams? And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but there is a slight delay in it. So if you guys do tell me something, or if you say something and I don't quite get to it, I apologize. And if you are in the live chat and you ask a question, I don't quite get to it, because I can definitely have a squirrel moment and I will lose my train of thought. if there's a question that you need for me to answer, feel free to send me an email at skipstacticalsolutions@gmail.com. And you can find the information to reach me down in the description of the video. But I would love for you to reach out and let me know what your question is, or feel free to send me a message on social media. I get back to my messages, so I definitely want you to reach out if you have a question. Nothing is done intentionally if I don't get to your question, but I do have a couple of moderators in the group and they will be able to assist you if possible, but if not, it's okay, just reach out. So let's see. Marv said, coworkers love the design of the Skips Tactical Solutions shirt. Put mine on today at work and the one with the pistol yesterday to the range. Thank you so much for supporting and always wearing your Skip shirt. You're awesome. Chris said, wait, squirrel. Hey, Adoria, thank you for tuning in. So tonight we are going to be talking about some post-shooting mistakes. So we're going to share, I'm going to say the top 5. Okay, so if you are in here, I would love for you to share this video with someone that can just learn something from this video. It may be something that you already know, but the next person may not know it. So this can be something that can save their life. This is something that can possibly save your life. So please share this. Or if you can also share it on like Instagram, take a screenshot and you can tag me in it and I will share it to my stories and I will share it as well. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And if you like what you see, please hit that thumbs up button on this video. And if you have not grabbed your Skips tumblers, please check out my website, skipstacticalsolutions.com, and grab your Skips tumbler because I have some hot and cold tumblers there. So the tumbler, you can put hot and cold in it, and they're pretty awesome. So there should be a couple people in this live chat that have their own tumblers, and I love mine too. So I don't know if it's super cold where you are right now, but I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get into the live. Do not get mad at me when I say this. I think it was 55 degrees the other morning, and it was pretty chilly here. So I definitely have my coffee in my tumbler. So if you want to have your coffee, your cocoa, your water, whatever it is in your tumbler, yeah, make sure you go to the website and grab yours. All right, so we're going to cover some top post-shooting mistakes. If you are familiar with my podcast, I just dropped an episode on Monday, and the episode was a follow-up video of me and Michael Waller with MJ's Firearms. And Michael joined us on the YouTube Live last week. The YouTube Live last week was about, we were actually just having a YouTube Live, and he came in and he kind of talked about his story. So if you're not familiar with his story, please go check out my podcast. And you can check out the podcast here on YouTube, actually, or you can go to your podcast player. And if there's someone in this live or watching this right now, and you don't know what a podcast is, please feel free to comment and say that you don't know what a podcast is, and we will educate you on what a podcast is, okay? So on episode 20 of the podcast, Michael Waller shared with us that he had encountered an active shooter, and he is a young African-American male, and he is a legal concealed carry holder in Chicago. And he was able to stop the threat, which the individual trying to harm him and his son, that was a threat. He was able to stop him and protect him and his son. So he came onto the podcast, shared some things with us, but this past Monday, I had a follow-up interview with him. So if you haven't checked that out, please check that out, because you will be able to gain some type of nugget from that and just be able to hear the different things that he went through. So this is not a podcast. This is just a live stream. But my podcast episodes are uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. And you'll be able to see them. It's called Skips Tactical Solutions, the name of the podcast. So one of the first things that I want to cover is, there was literally an active shooter incident today. at a school in California. But when it comes to post incident, okay, so you've had to shoot someone possibly, right? Now you're calling 911, or now you're having to do certain things. So we're going to cover some of the top mistakes that people make, and then make sure that you stay tuned until the end of the video, because we will also be sharing a couple of extra nuggets with you, and you know there's going to be a giveaway. And for those of you who are tuned in, once the live is over, make sure that if you checked out for a little bit and you entered the giveaway, make sure that you check back and see if you actually win it. See if you actually won, because we've had at least 3 winners who have not claimed their prizes, and what just happens is it just goes back into the pot. Okay, so just make sure that you guys are staying on top of giveaways if you enter. Okay. Thanks, Chico Wise. How are you? All right, so one of the first, and I have a couple notes so that I make sure that I don't miss anything. Post shooting, you're going to call authorities, right? You're going to call them and they're going to need to respond. You're going to get on the phone and you're talking to the 911 operator. And this is very interactive, so I want to hear what you guys think as well. So you're on the phone and you're talking to the 911 operator, and I don't want you to, or you should not share too much information. You want to make sure that you give them the basics of what they need, but you have to remember that that is a recorded line. And on that recorded line, you don't want to share too much information. That's not where you're going to want to talk to yourself and say things like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done this. Oh my God, did I do the right thing? Those are not going to be things that you're going to want to say. So as long as you are on the phone with them and they may say, hey, Jimmy, hold on for a second. Remember, that is a recorded line. So these are things that you don't want to say. You don't want to give up information that could be possibly used against you later, right? These things can be used against you later. So you don't want to say things that may possibly incriminate you. And then a natural emotional reaction may be just you being apologetic, but try to keep those types of things in check, because you being apologetic could possibly say that, okay, you did something that was wrong. So these are going to be things that you don't want to do. And also, don't try to plead your case on the phone with the operator. That is not the time or the place for you to do that. That is not what you want to be doing at that time. You're not telling the 911 operator how sorry you are. You're not giving details on, well, this person did this first and then I did this. You are giving them the pertinent details that they need to arrive to that scene, okay? So that is the very first thing that you want to do, is make sure that you're not talking too much, okay? There's a certain thing of talking too much. Do you guys know someone that possibly talks too much? We all know at least that one person that talks too much. All right, so the next thing that I bet is a post-shooting mistake, okay, is there's going to be 2 parts to this next one. So we're just going to make them completely separate. Number 2 is going to be, do not assume that the police officers that are responding are your friends, okay? I'm not saying that they're your enemy, but you do not want to assume that they're your friend, okay? So when I say don't assume that they're your friends, you're not trying to establish a rapport with them. You are being professional and you're being respectful, okay? So that is just, let me go ahead and put that out there, okay? Whenever you're dealing with people, you want to remain respectful and professional. So do not take this as I'm telling you to be disrespectful towards anyone. But you're not trying to build a rapport with that cop, okay? You're not trying to plead your case to that responding officer. These are things that you're not doing. They're coming there to investigate what happened, and you're giving them the details that they need, and you're also not being combative. That's the word I'm trying to use. You're not trying to be combative with them. They're there to do a job. You need to allow them to do their job. But let me back up a couple. What I want to say is, once they're on their way and once you have pretty much secured that area and you can put your firearm away. Once the cops are arriving, you need to go ahead and put your firearm away, because I want you to think about this. How will they be able to distinguish what who the bad guy is and who the good guy is? Because there may have been different reports and they may be conflicting. All right. So you do not want to still have your firearm out, because they may just think that you're the bad person. And if you're the bad person and they see a gun, some people, if you make any sudden movements, then now they may possibly think, oh, this person's going to shoot us. And then now they shoot you. Sometimes they just see a gun. Ace, I'm not a lawyer. All right, so when it comes to the cops arriving, you want to make sure that you don't have your firearm out. That's not something that you're going to want to do. Once that scene's contained, you want to go ahead and put that away, and you want to, okay, so Chico Wise just added this. You want to make sure that your hands are visible, and you don't want to come off as combative, but you do not want to assume that they're your friends. And some people, what is it that they get? They get, I call it verbal diarrhea. It's probably not the right thing to say, but sometimes people just get verbal diarrhea. And when they get verbal diarrhea, they start to say everything. And that's not the time for you to say everything. You're going to want to talk to your lawyer, and then you're going to want to give out the things that you need to give out to your lawyer, but you need to give the details to the police officer. You're not trying to plead your case. You're not trying to do all of that. And just make sure that you are respectful at all times. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, I just said not to assume that they're your friends, right? But you also don't want to assume that they're your enemy. So that's going to be number 3 for a post-shooting mistake. You do not want to assume that the officers that are responding are your enemies, because their job is to protect and serve, right? So you don't want to assume that they're your enemy. You want to make sure, like I said, that you're still being respectful, right? And then you're going to want to comply with what they're telling you, okay? You want to comply. And you're going to I would like to speak to my lawyer, and you have that right to be able to do that. And I also want you to know it, and for those of you who listen to the podcast episode with me and Michael Waller, there may be a possibility that you get handcuffed and you did everything flawlessly, right? You did everything the way that you're supposed to do it. There's a possibility that you will get handcuffed and put into the back of a squad car. And I mean, who in here actually thinks that that's a possibility? And if you think that's a possibility, I would love for you to share with me why you think that's a possibility. Excuse me. So E-Squad said, which is why I have concealed carry insurance. Absolutely. And I will be covering that as well tonight. So Green Box Media said, sorry. So Green Box Media said, comply even if it means being disarmed. So I would like to know what would your answer be to this question? And these things that we're talking about, remember that this is not just one-sided. You have to think about how multifaceted some of these things are going to be, because we sometimes get into like the way of only viewing things from our lens, right? But if you call the police and the police have arrived, right, you're going to need to secure your firearm. If you are if your job is to secure a scene and to protect, if someone has a firearm and you don't know what their status is, you definitely need to have, like, they're going to need to be disarmed. You're going to need to get that firearm away from them. So you would definitely need to comply, because that law enforcement officer is giving you a command and they're telling you to put your firearm away. And what we're not saying is there's a shooting going on and there's still a threat, and you're putting, if the cops are there, that is their job, and they're just trying to secure the scene. So Green Box Media said, it is always a civilian is disarmed because of officer safety. If maybe there's someone else in here that can probably explain it a little differently. So if you don't know the status of someone, so let's say, for instance, hypothetically, let's just say I'm a cop and I pull you over, right? And you have a firearm. But what I don't know yet, because I just pulled you over, right? What I possibly don't know yet is that you were on the way to go kill 5 people, right? And I'm the only thing standing between you and killing 5 people, and you have your mind made up, and today is the day, right? If someone needs to be disarmed, they need to be disarmed. And officer safety is very real, because you never know the mental state of someone that you're dealing with. So you just have to put yourself in another person's shoes. Sometimes if you were the responding officer and there was someone there and you didn't know what their intent is, you want to make sure that you secure that scene. And part of securing that scene is taking their firearm. And in Michael Waller's case, and also LaToya Harris's case, they ended up getting their firearms confiscated, because that is now evidence, right? In evidence, they're going to take it and it's going to have to be processed. So that's something that you're going to have to think about as well. Okay, so this incident just occurred, and now I'm possibly going to lose this firearm for a bit. And when I say possibly, that is very highly likely, right? It was used, and now the cops need to investigate what happened. And it could possibly be your word against theirs. Another thing that I want you guys to think about is, and this is just kind of adding to the last thing that I just said, but if you only have, and I want you guys to think about this, like really think about it. If you only have one firearm for yourself, your family, whatever it may be, one firearm, right? And something occurs, what are you going to use to protect yourself? See, some of you guys are already on it. So Christopher said, I have more than one. Marco said, I have spare guns. And that is very, very important to have more than one, because if that gets confiscated, or God forbid it gets stolen, how are you going to be able to protect yourself or your family? So Mont said, I apologize for being late to the live. You have to bring donuts the next time because you were late. Actually, ice cream, because I like ice cream. You're fine. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we talked about don't assume that cops are your enemies, and you're going to want to make sure that you comply. And sometimes, not all cops are bad. All right, not all cops are bad. There are absolutely good cops out there. So don't assume that they're your enemy and you have to comply. Like, they're there and they are there to do their job, and you just have to allow them to properly do their job, because then when you stop them from doing your job, now you're getting in trouble, okay? So you don't want to resist, you want to comply. And if your safety is an issue for you, then you need to communicate that you feel like your safety is an issue. But if it's just, hey, I need you to put your firearm away, or hey, we're going to clear this out and we're going to sit this here, or you're going to sit this here, that's just what you're going to have to do. And you may be treated like you're the bad guy. How many of you have ever thought about that? You absolutely may be treated like you're the bad guy. And I use this example for a lot of the times for my classes that I teach. If someone comes to my home, right, and everybody knows the threshold of your door, right? If someone comes to my home and they cross that threshold of my door, right? If they cross the threshold of my door and they're looking to harm me or my family, that's when, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the castle doctrine, right? That's when that castle doctrine is going to kick in. And if they're trying to harm me or my family, right? I'm sorry, but I'd rather have my side of the story to tell than them have their side of the story to tell, right? So if you're the last man standing or the last woman standing, right? They may possibly not have another side to go off of. They're only going to have your side to go off of. So you have to just know that you may get treated like a bad person just because they don't know. And when they don't know, then they're going to have to investigate it. And then once they investigate it, then that's when the things are going to come out. But that's why we're going to cover this a little bit later. You're going to want to have insurance because you want to have someone on your side that you're going to be able to contact immediately. And you don't want to have to add that additional stressor to, oh my goodness, we don't have money. We're going to have to blah, blah, blah. You don't want to have to do that. So, I mean, when it comes to personal defense in your home, if you feel that person is a threat, then that is your home. What I'm not saying is I have no idea where everyone is tuning in from tonight. So I would definitely love for you guys to tell me where you're tuning in from tonight. But just know all states are not created equally. They are not. Not every state are you able to defend yourself the way that you can in the state that I live in. I reside in Florida, and I know Florida always has what they call it Florida news, right? But I do appreciate the fact that I can protect myself, I can protect my family, I can carry my firearm on me and not have to worry about, oh, I can only buy one gun a day or I can only do this. Those are things that I really, really appreciate. Kermit is tuning in from Connecticut. So the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is when you are being treated like a bad guy, right? You want to just roll with it, right? You don't want to be combative. You don't want to be arguing. Like, you don't want to do any of that. Just know that that is part of it. There has to be an investigation, but you want to make sure that you are doing all the things that you can do to not incriminate yourself in any kind of way. So you're not saying anything that you shouldn't be saying. All right, let's just say that. So you're just allowing them to do their job and you are not getting in their way. You're answering the questions that they need you to answer. If there's something that you're not comfortable answering, then you already know what you need to do. And hopefully at this point you have contacted your lawyer and they are getting on their way to come and help you out. But I mean, you may be possibly in the back of a squad car with handcuffs because they want to handcuff you because think about it, you just shot someone, okay? So do you think everyone in this live right now, we're gonna pretend right now, right, that we are police officers and we are responding to a shooting, right? And all we see is one body on the ground, and then there's someone with a gun who is just being very argumentative, right? Is argumentative a word? I think it is, so we're gonna go with it, all right? So if that is what you see, are you gonna just allow that person to keep the gun? Are you gonna try to control that scene as much as you can? All right, so think about these things, and every job has its protocol, okay? So when protocol is broken, then people are dealt with accordingly. So Chico Wise said, for my safety, the person with the gun must be disarmed. And my honest opinion, humble opinion. Sorry, guys, I had to take a quick swig. Christopher Perry said, who is the threat? Yes, if you're responding, you have no idea what happened, who is the threat, and you just need to investigate. And that's where we're going to go into something else. The next thing we're going to talk about is tampering with the scene. And I also want to add that I'm not giving anyone on this live any kind of legal advice. We're just having a general conversation, and this is just for educational purposes for you to kind of think about some of these scenarios, because you just don't know what you don't know, and you don't want to react in a manner that you shouldn't and second guess yourself, okay? So I want you guys to be educated. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is tampering with the scene. And there are many reasons why people may tamper with a crime scene. And I want you all who are watching right now to share with me, what are some reasons why you think that someone would tamper with a crime scene? And it doesn't even have to be out of like a negative place. Like what could a reason be that someone tampers with a crime scene? Let's say, for instance, someone breaks into your home and you had to shoot them, and now you had to call the police, and now the police are responding. All right, so Christopher Perry shared that one of the reasons may be shock, and you are absolutely right. Shock could definitely be a reason why they are cleaning up. It's, oh my God, this just happened. Not knowing the results of actions, Jordan Jones says. So yes, these are a couple of reasons why people may possibly tamper with the scene. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a huge mistake. You don't want to tamper with the scene at all. You do not want to do that. That is very, very illegal, and you don't want to do that. But if you don't know, then you may possibly do that. So for someone who, let's just use a example. You and your family has had like such a crazy busy week, and maybe you just got back from vacation. Everyone's unpacking. Your house is a complete mess. No one's house has ever been a mess, has it? Yeah, okay. So let's say your house is a complete mess and someone tried to break in. Someone tried to harm you and your family, right? And you had to, we're going to say, eliminate the threat, right? And your house is just a wreck, and you're like, oh my goodness, now the cops are going to have to come, and I don't want people in here. My house looks like this. This could possibly be a reason why someone may tamper with the scene, but I want you to know that it's called tampering with evidence, okay? So you don't want to do that. You do not want to tamper with that crime, because now it's a crime scene, okay? Yarn Dragon said, don't clean because the PD is coming. When the PD comes, they clean. All right, so you don't want to try to clean up at all. And then you also may have some people, and I think someone mentioned this as well, they may be trying to tamper with the scene just because they feel like they made a mistake, right? And they're like, oh my goodness, why did I do that? And you probably see this more in the movies, and I don't know if people, I'm sure people do this in real life, but don't ever do it because it's wrong. But I accidentally shot this person. I thought it was a gun. It wasn't a gun. Now they plant a gun on that person. That's called tampering, and you can't do that. And at that point, you just have to be honest. It's, this person had this. I thought it was a gun. It was dark, or whatever it may have been. You have to be honest with what went on and go through the procedures. But planning something, there's ballistics, there's forensics, like there's so much that's involved in this. And you can say, well, this person was going out the door, but then when they look at the blood splatter and everything, they're like, actually, you shot them in the back versus shooting him in the front. And why did you do that? There's entry exit wounds. There's so much that goes into this to where you don't want to tamper with anything, because they'll be able to see what you tampered with, and now you've lied to them, and there was no reason to do that. But another thing is, you have to know why you can legally defend yourself, okay? Being scared is never a reason. All right. People are scared of things like, let's see something that someone, comment below on something that is common for people to be scared of. Some people are scared of spiders, right? You can just shoot a spider. You could be scared of heights. I know what some of you in here are probably scared of. I got a joke. You guys are probably scared of your spouses finding out how much you really spend on guns. So Tico Wise also said, and you better not have an Alexa because she will tell you. So some of the things that people mentioned were snakes, heights, I have to be honest, I am so afraid of snakes, and living here in Florida is just like, please, please don't. Please don't. I'll run outside sometimes and I'm like, I'm more worried about the snakes than anything else. So the reason why I brought that up, being scared, is because I want you guys to really listen to this, right? You have to be able to properly communicate, right? You need to be able to articulate why you did what you did, right? And it can't be because you were scared, okay? So I want you to really think about that. You have to be in fear for your life. It has to be serious danger, but it can't be that you were scared, okay? So you have to know legally what you can protect yourself against and legally what you can walk away from, right? So a snake, we can run away from a snake, right? A spider, we can run away from a spider. Chris said, I'm scared of my shadow. Okay. And as Christopher Perry just said, feared for my life. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much for adding that. And as Marco just stated, fear and scared are different. So very different. And thank you so much for sharing that. And if you don't know the difference in them, that's something that you need to think about. And Chico Wise just shared, feared for my life, safety, my family's safety, and life. Yes. Very, very important. Very important. So once you know these things, you'll know that if you're not in fear of your life, then sometimes you can possibly walk away, right? But when the cop shows up and you have had to utilize your firearm, you're not going to be able to say, oh, I was scared. Actually, I'm not going to say you're not going to be able to say that. You can say whatever you like to say, but I'm not sure if that's going to go over very well with you. All right, so being scared and fearing for your life and safety, please know the difference in those. And if you don't know the difference in those, I really want you to think about that tonight and be able to properly articulate that, especially if you carry a firearm, all right? So tampering with the scene, you don't want to do that. And also think about if you were to go throw some things outside into the garbage, right? If you go throw some things outside into the garbage, let's say there was a gunshot, a couple gunshots actually, and your neighbor started to come outside, and now you're putting things in the garbage. I'm pretty sure that the cops are gonna walk around it and they're gonna talk to people, and your neighbors are gonna, oh, well, actually at 11:02, I was outside and I saw that Jimmy was throwing some things into the garbage. And the cops are going to ask you, well, what were you throwing into the garbage and why were you doing this? And those are headaches that you don't even want to have. So things that you don't think people see, I can promise you that they see them. And if you made a mistake, I want to be honest with you. You made a mistake, okay? And that's just something that you're going to have to own up to and be very honest. So that was the fourth mistake, okay? So the first mistake was talking too much. You don't want to share too much. You want to make sure that you give them the details. The second thing was assuming that that the police officers that respond are your friends. We're not going to assume anyone is our friend, okay? But then the third one was also, we're not going to assume that there are enemies, because they're not. And the fourth one was tampering with the scene. All right. So when it initially happens, you may not initially see it as a crime scene. You may be in shock. You're not even thinking, oh, you know what? This is a crime scene. But it's going to be a crime scene. So you don't want to tamper with any of the evidence, and everything around is going to be evidence. So you don't want to tamper with any of that, because you will get in trouble. Okay. Sorry, guys, just want to check out some of the comments really quick. And then another thing that you want to also think about is if there are any type of cameras around. I don't know if you guys really notice, but like nowadays there are cameras everywhere. They're literally everywhere. So if this crime was in an alley, or if this crime was committed at the mall, like, you do not want to do things that you're not supposed to, because they are going to be able to find out what the truth is. And back to assuming that cops, don't assume that cops are your enemies. Michael Waller shared with us that when he was dealing with what he dealt with, the cops were very, very nice and accommodating towards him. And these are cops that work in Chicago. I would love to know how much they get paid. They got to have like some type of hazardous duty, anything, something like that. Like, oh my goodness, that is literally like a war zone. But I mean, they could have looked at that a certain way, but they didn't treat him like a criminal. Yes, they put him in handcuffs. Yes, they put him in the back of their squad car, but they also had to investigate what happened. And they were able to say, okay, you want to know what? This guy is a known gang member, and now we're going to have to go through these motions. But I just want you guys to know, yes, I'm going over this with you, but I'm not saying every situation will be the same, because they will all be very different. They are all different people, different situations, different locations. And you just have to be very vigilant and very confident in yourself, so that you know that you are always operating to the best of your abilities. Chico Wise said, talk as little as possible, but that is hard to do. The police will think or say you're not trying to cooperate. Be smart. Only talk to a lawyer after shooting my 2 cents. And that is very, very smart. And I will be talking about a lawyer here at the end. But thank you for sharing that. And Antoine, I'm so glad that you brought that up. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So Antoine said, nowadays, everyone has a camera phone. Yes, they do. And I mean, people are having camera phones like starting at like the age of like 6, 7 nowadays, right? If they don't have a camera phone, then they probably have, what else can they have? iPad, anything, right? And they are recording what's going on. Even if someone is only recording the audio of what's going on, that's still capturing what happened at the scene. And if you were like literally talking to yourself, like, oh my God, what did I just do? Why did I shoot them? Oh my, they didn't have a good, like, whatever you're saying, you don't want to be talking to yourself and saying these things out loud, okay? So as soon as you can possibly get to a phone, call a lawyer so that you can know the things that you should be communicating and things that you should not be communicating. And that is strictly what a lawyer is going to help you for, okay? All right, so the fifth thing that I want to talk about is whenever something happens, whenever there's a shooting, a mistake that you can possibly make is leaving the scene, okay? So you do not want to leave the scene because there's still things that need to be taken care of. And if you're leaving the scene, they can possibly think that you're fleeing. You don't want them to think that you're fleeing because typically when people are running, they're running because they have something to hide. That's not going to be something that you're going to want to portray to the police. So you want to make sure that you do not leave. But if you leave, there's possible reasons why you may leave, all right? So one possible reason is, let's say you were going to go pick up your children, right, from school. So something happened and you're like, I have to go, like, I got to pick up my kids are waiting on me, right? Marco, thank you so much for adding that. Marco said, what if you're still in danger? That would be another reason why you would leave as well. So if you're in danger, you absolutely need to get yourself to safety and you're going to want to leave that area. Chico White said, unless there's other threats, yes. G Webs is here. Thank you so much for tuning in, G Webs. G Webs said, I've seen good CCW training that will take you through the police interaction and the interrogations, types of police who respond to incidents, etc. Yes, that is so good. And those are things that when they occur, if you know what right typically looks like, then when wrong is happening, you're going to know what wrong looks like as well, all right? So you got to know what is right to know what wrong is, okay? And another thing is maybe your spouse. Your spouse is like, oh my God, I'm stuck here or blah, blah, blah. You have to go pick them up. And that would be another possible reason. But thank you so much, Marco, for sharing that. If you're in danger, absolutely. Yes, you have to leave. Like, and you may not necessarily have to leave that scene, but you have to get yourself to safety. We're not putting our safety at risk just to stand there and say, well, I didn't move or I did it this. You need to get yourself to safety. And something else that I do want to share with you guys is when you are initially calling and you are sharing with 911, I'm not going to tell you everything to tell them, but what I do want you to know is you do need to describe what you look like. And you also do want to describe that you want to tell them your name. You also want to let them know that it was a self-defense shooting, all right? Because if there was a self-defense shooting, they're probably going to handle that differently than like a different type of shooting, right? So if there's a self-defense shooting, then there's possibly still someone there that's armed, okay? But that's something that that's just only a couple of the things that you're going to need to say, but there are definitely some key things that you want to say. Another reason why you may need to leave is, what if your phone died? I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my phone just seems to die at like the most inconvenient times. It's like, okay, well, my phone just died and I really needed it. So if your phone died and you had to go maybe to the corner store, I just said the corner store. But yeah, if you got to go to the corner store, wherever you need to go to get to a phone to be able to call the police, you need to call them, let them know what happened. And Jordan Jones just said, what if you don't have time to call the police? You have to make time to call them. They will definitely need to be called at some point in time. And this is a very interactive video. So if there's anything that you guys want to add to this, please let me know what you want to add to it. If your phone said you're going to need to get somewhere to get to a phone. Nowadays, everyone has a phone. The standard pay phones on like the corner are not really there anymore, although I've seen one not too long ago. But you can ask someone else if you can use their phone, and you can go to a store, or you can have someone else call, whatever you need to do, but you need to be able to properly communicate what has happened. You're not just leaving the scene and going, oh, okay, well, maybe they'll find that body. That would be a very, very bad day. Like I said, guys, this is not all encompassing. I'm just sharing some things with you because I hate talking about these things. I will wholeheartedly let you know I try to avoid talking about these things as much as possible. But at the same time, I feel like I do a disservice if I don't communicate with you guys about these things, because this is just real life. This is real life. These things are happening, and I don't want you to end up getting in trouble for doing something that you just didn't know. Maybe your state does not have a curriculum when it comes to concealed carry. And also, maybe, just maybe, you didn't have a good instructor and your instructor did not cover certain things. And if your instructor didn't cover them, then you're just not going to know. So I really don't like talking about it, but I feel like it's very important. And then today I went on, excuse me. And then today I went on a late lunch break just to see that there had been a school shooting. And I was like, oh man, like I don't want to talk about this tonight, but I do feel like these are things that we have to talk about because this is happening. And this was something that I mean, if you guys saw it, I'm not sure if you saw it, but this live was planned last night. I already had the topic, and this is kind of a follow-up to talking with Michael Waller. So we talked with him, and I learned a lot of things from him. I have learned so much from him, and we had some very good conversations. And those conversations were about things that he possibly thought that he could do better. And he shared those things on the podcast. So if you didn't listen to the podcast, please listen to the podcast. And it's a couple of videos back, and you can either listen to it on audio or you can actually look at it was like a live interaction between both of us, but he dropped some really good nuggets. And something else that he shared is so the person that he ended up shooting in self-defense ended up passing away. He died. He was a bad guy. He tried to kill him, and he tried to shoot him and his son, and he died. And he shared that although he had been cleared of charges, there was something on his record. And it just said like he was arrested or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it said, but there was something on his record. And if you have something on your record that shouldn't be, you're going to want it off your record. So when we did the live, he explained that he had just left from court from getting it off his record. And those are things that you wouldn't know if you just didn't know. And all states are not the same, but he had something in his records that the cops didn't communicate with him. So that's something that you're just not going to know. And you have to learn from other people. And he spent a lot of money just dealing with this case. This was something I'm sure if he would have known, if I go down this alley, this is going to happen, I'm sure he would have never went down that alley. And he has dealt with so much stuff. So I definitely want you guys to learn from other people. I definitely want to have more education out there about this, because the average person doesn't receive enough education when it comes to this. And we're the ones that are going to the grocery stores, we're going to the movies, our kids are going to school, and they're dealing with this. So we have to talk about the fact that if you really look at the root of all of this, we have some people that have hate in their heart. And yeah, you're not going to be able to put a law in place and make them good people. So yeah. So I'm going to jump off my soapbox with that one. But now I'm going to go back to leaving the scene. You guys are like, there she goes again, jumping on that soapbox. All right, so if your phone is dead, which we talked about that, if your phone's dead, then you're going to need to get to a phone, because you're going to need to communicate what has occurred. Or if there is still a threat, then you're going to need to leave and get to safety. And you're getting safe first. That is your priority. You're getting safe. You're controlling what's going on before you do anything else. And then shock can make you just get in your car and go home. That's real. Shock is very, very real. And sometimes people really think that they're acting rational, and they're not. And another thing is, if you left, you need to properly articulate why you left. Okay, so that's why it's good to get educated on what you can and cannot do, because if you're leaving and you're not supposed to leave, then you're going to need to properly articulate, well, I had to leave because this happened, or I had to leave because this was going on. And I want to highlight a comment. So Yarn Dragon said, only law following people will follow laws. Yes. Jordan Jones said, I've been in shock a couple of times. Remember it like it was yesterday. And at the root of all of this, when it comes to leaving, safety has to be an issue for you to leave. You can't leave. You have to make sure that you are taking care of business that needs to be taken care of. You're not going to be able to leave that scene until you are cleared by the cops to leave. But if your safety is at risk, your safety is your number one priority, and you need to take care of your safety. So Marco said, I'm worried about my mental health if I have to shoot someone. That is very good. And if you're worried about that, I would love for you to listen to the podcast, because we cover that as well, because that is very, very real. And you may possibly have to deal with shooting someone's father, mother, brother, whatever it is, right? But what I'm going to add to that is, when it comes to that mental part of it, that's where you need to be able to be confident in the things that you're doing, and knowing that, okay, I look at a lot of these things as, if you look at a bad guy, right? shooter, whatever. It's their life versus your life, or their life versus your family's life, or whatever it may be, right? And you have to be confident in making those abilities. Am I saying there will not be any mental aspects to it? No, I'm not saying that at all. That is real. You will have some mental challenges ahead of you. But what I'm also saying is, I want you to be around to be able to have those mental challenges, right? But hopefully, we're talking about this. And that's why we may be able to avoid this by having situational awareness, okay? So Chico said, after a self-defense shooting, if you're justified and cleared of charges, there is almost always a civil suit that follows, family of the deceased. Yes. Have you guys like seen that when people are like, or there was actually a case that got some major news, and I can't remember exactly the case, but I don't know if it was a Dollar General or whatever it was, but they were trying to justify why, you know, their brother shouldn't have been shot because, yeah, he was robbing someone, but he still shouldn't have been shot and killed. And it's like, really? Really? It's your life versus theirs. And I'm never going to assume that someone is only going to shoot me one time, or I'm not going to assume, okay, that person's only going to rape me a little bit, or none of those things. You don't want to assume those things, and you wouldn't want anyone else to assume that either. And you have to think about your daughter, mother, sister, brother, whoever it is. Yeah, no. Kermit, you just sum this all up. Kermit said, I don't carry because I want to hurt somebody. I carry because someone might want to hurt me. Yes, and that is the reason. That is another reason why I carry. I'm not out here looking for problems. I'm just literally trying to go to work, come home, spend time with my family, do YouTube lives with you guys on Thursday nights, and eat ice cream, okay? I am not trying to hurt anyone. But what I will tell you is if someone is trying to hurt me or my family, that is why I have a gun. I want to be able to protect them, and I don't want any of us to be a victim. Gun website said it is not the victim's responsibility to know what the bad guy plans to do. It is not. And I'll tell you something else is if you are taking the time out to really give them that benefit of the doubt, that will possibly be the last benefit of the doubt that you give. All right. So you never know what someone's intentions are. You don't really want to assume those things. Chico Y said, yes, Skip, that was a crazy interview with the siblings. Yeah, I thought that one was crazy too. I was like, someone turned the TV off right now. And then, of course, things like that go viral. You also never know what someone else is capable of. And that's why I tell people, keep your hands to yourself, and you need to not know. So Jack Johnson. I will have to respectfully disagree with you. You said if you train, you don't need a gun. That is absolutely not accurate, but I will agree to disagree with you. But the next thing that I want to go over is leaving the scene of a shooting is one of those things that, you know, if your body's in shock, you may not actually realize that you do it, but this is something that you need to kind of think about. You need to have a plan, and you need to know what you plan on doing. You need to kind of talk through these things. You need to be very vigilant about the areas that you're in, the people that you're around, and I want you to avoid the situation if possible. If you see some things are kind of getting shady, leave. Don't be the person that's like, I'm about to record this. You're like, you got your phone, you're like, world star, all that. Don't be that person, all right? Because stray bullets kill people as well. So you may not be in that direct altercation. You could be that person that's just trying to film that video so that you can send it to wherever and it goes viral. That is not okay. You need to try to get to safety. And someone else said this earlier. Let's see, who was it? Marco said this. He talked about the emotional piece. And I want to talk about the fact that you pull out your firearm, you shoot someone, that is only the beginning. That is literally just the beginning. There is an emotional, and if anyone's taking my class that's watching this, all right, there's an emotional, legal, and a financial piece to this that you will deal with, but you will also bring your family into this as well. Because whatever you deal with, your family's dealing with it as well. And the right, guys, like, so I'm gonna pick on the ladies tonight, but we know guys do it too. So for all the men that are in here, right? If you have your wife come home, right, and she is just talking about her day, right? She is just like going in on how this person said this or this person did this. I'm guilty of it. I do it. We all do it, right? Whatever she's going through, you're literally going through it too, right? You guys have to have dealt with this. I can't be the only one. So whatever you go through, your spouse goes through, whatever you go through, your children go through it as well. So that's going to be another part of it that a lot of people don't think about, because there seems to be kind of two sides to self-protection nowadays. Either you're for it or you're against it. And that's something that your children may have to deal with, and they may not be willing to deal with, not willing, they may not be ready to deal with that. So you have to talk about this, you have to socialize it, and you have to know that if you do this, that is only going to be the beginning of it, but it's something that as a responsible gun owner, you kind of sign up for when you strap that gun on you every single day. Jordan said, what if we're single like a dollar bill? Well, then you talk to yourself probably. You're like, I can't believe, or you call your friend and you're like, I can't believe that this blah, 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 blah. And then once you're done, you're done. All right, and I want you to only use this as educational purposes. Like I said before, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you some advice on some mistakes. And if you listen to and I know I've kind of referenced this a lot, but we have to learn from history, right? Because we have to correct the things that can be corrected. So if you listen to the interview with Michael, he did share a lot of good things. And, he talked about training. Training is a must. And he went to training like a week or two after the event, because he said he saw what his strengths were and what his weaknesses were. And anybody wants to kind of lower their weaknesses, but get stronger with their strengths, right? And this is another thing that I want to share with you. And I want you to share it with your family too. And I probably want you to share this video that someone knows what I'm saying. Everything that you put online is online. So if you're putting online that you want to hurt someone, or if you want to do these things, then just know that that's documented. That is online, okay? And when it comes to your post-shooting, a mistake could be that you're putting something online. Like when I did my first interview with Michael, there were things that we didn't talk about, but me being very cognizant that he was dealing with a crime. Like there was things that were still actively going on. And we had our interview probably a week or two after the event happened. I asked him if there was anything that he didn't want to talk about. but I didn't push certain things. Like I didn't talk about the bad guy a lot because, excuse me, I knew that it was still something that was actively going on. So they were probably listening to everything that he was doing, and maybe he was going to say this. So that's not something, I didn't want to put him in that situation. And he didn't even talk about how many rounds he shot. He did not disclose that information. So there were just some things that we talked about, but then there were also some things that we didn't talk about, because when you put things out there, they're there and you can't take them back. As much as we think, okay, we could delete this. Yeah, no, you're not deleting anything, because once it's out there, it is out there. Do not share, well, I did this because of, nope. You want to only communicate with those closest to you. You want to only communicate, and sometimes not even that. You want to talk to your lawyer. You want to get all the facts out there and not divulge too much too soon as far as communicating with 911. And I try to communicate this with my kids as well. The things that they put out there or the things that they say, like, don't do that. You only want to put good things out there, because the internet is the internet. And you don't want your grandkids like, oh my God, my grandpa commented this or my grandma commented this. Oh my goodness. So Antoine just shared something very good. Thank you so much. So Antoine said, anything that you say can and will be used against you. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but that's real. Yeah, so they can go into your social media. They can do a lot of these things that you're not going to really think about until it is too late. Can you hand me that hat and that? And the, sorry guys, I'm just trying to get something for you guys. All right. Really quick, I do want to go over the shooting that occurred in California. It was a shooting at a school, which no shootings are good, but I hate the fact that we have so many kids that are going into school, and I mean, our kids are there to learn. They're not there to be fearing for their life. Yes, Stoner, everything is definitely recorded. So this kind of ties along with what I just said, but the child that, the gunman, that's what I'm going to call him because that's what he is. The gunman actually posted something on, I think it was his Instagram page, I think the night prior. He definitely posted something. I don't know if it was this morning or whatever, but I think it was the night prior, last night. He posted something on his social media. So obviously, open source, they're going to be able to go back and look. And I think there was some fishy stuff going on with that, but it was I'm just trying to tell you guys. The gunman did die. And last I looked, it was 2 dead, 4 wounded. And I mean, we don't want any dead, any wounded. This completely avoidable. And prayers to anyone affected by this. There are, like I said, people out there with hate in their heart. And I mean, small, big, whatever, black, white, whatever it may be, people are out here that are looking to harm you. I want you to really think about the fact that you need to talk to your children about these things. This is not something that if you avoid it, it will go away, because these things are happening every single day. And like, no, I'm pretty sure he passed away, but I could be wrong. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. I was trying to double check on that, but I want you to educate your kids. I don't want you to say that, I don't want you to instill fear into your kids, but I want you to educate them on, you know, listening to authorities, doing all the things that they need to at school. But like, if they needed to apply first aid, do they know how to apply first aid? If they needed to get safe, do they know how to do those things? These are things that I don't want to tell you to talk to your kids about, but let's be honest, these are things that we need to talk to our kids about because they're happening. They're happening everywhere. California is so strict with their gun laws, and these things are still happening. It's not the item, it's the people. We have a lot of bad people. Okay, he shot himself in the head. Sorry about that, guys. But as parents, it's our jobs to educate our kids. But another thing with this is if you are a gun owner, you need to make sure that you're properly storing your firearms. And you have to properly store them from anyone that is unauthorized, okay? And you can just look at unauthorized as in anyone, not you, all right? And in the state of Florida, they actually prosecute parents who don't properly store their firearms. So that's definitely one of those things that you just have to do as a gun owner. You have to be a responsible gun owner. You just can't be a gun owner. You have to be a responsible gun owner. You have to make sure that you're doing the right thing at all times. And as parents, it's our job to protect our kids. So make sure that you're properly storing your firearms. If you have a question about a safe, feel free to reach out on a good safe. I definitely owe you guys a good video on one of the safes that I love, and it is literally on my nightstand, ready to go if I need it, and it is my Vault-Tec. So I owe you guys a video on that because that's one of my products that I absolutely love. And whenever I talk about it, I always say it's sexy, which is probably not the word that I should be using when I'm talking about a safe, but let's be honest, it is. All right. So I did want to talk about that for those of you who may not have heard about the shooting today. He definitely had ill intent. He killed some people, shot himself, and this is just tragic. It really is. And if you don't own firearms, I need you to get trained, get equipped with a way to protect yourself. And I've had a lot of people ask me to do videos on human trafficking. I definitely want to do some videos on human trafficking as well, because that's another reality. And some of these things are just not fun to talk about, but we have to talk about them and we have to educate others about it. We can all be in here in this live and be sharing some really good content, some really good information, and educating each other. But if we don't share that with someone else, like we're just doing the other person a disservice. Like we're just not really being good stewards with the information. All right, so Yarn Dragon shared, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this. California is the strictest in all law, but what does that do? And yes, I'm originally from that state. Yes. I think this is a really good example in how, you know, you can have all the, and they had a shooting, well, they've had quite a few, but, you know, it's definitely not, let's make the law stricter and we're going to stop the crime, because it's not stopping the crime. All it's doing is hindering those law-abiding citizens. There's a lot of law-abiding citizens that are just trying to protect themselves and their family. I mean, you don't go in the back of someone's vehicle and purchase a gun. You're following the rules. You have followed all the steps to get your license, and you just want to protect yourself and your family. So Marco said, I teach my kids gun safety and I have locks on my guns that I have not used stored in my safe. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing. So I did want to share with you guys that there is and I know I just said it, but there's a lot of human trafficking going on, and you just have to be cognizant of your surroundings. Situational awareness is a must at all times, okay? Don't let your guard down. If you are maybe a woman or smaller stature, just know that you may just be a target. There are people who are targeting people and they want to harm them. And I didn't realize that human trafficking was such a lucrative business. It is, I want to say maybe last year was 300 billion human trafficking, 300 billion. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of people. And it's modern day slavery. So if you guys are interested in me doing a video on human trafficking, please let me know. Please educate someone else on human trafficking. Please educate someone else on some post-shooting mistakes that people make in their mistakes, but we have to learn from them. And once we learn from other people's mistakes, then we won't, hopefully we'll learn and we won't make those same mistakes. But I want to share with you, and right after I share this, I have a giveaway for you guys. But I want to share with you that if you don't have concealed carry insurance, so I will let you guys know that I am an affiliate for USCCA, and that's the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, and I'm an affiliate with companies that I believe in. I'm an affiliate with companies that our values pretty much line up, and I wanted to be able to bring you guys the latest information when it comes to concealed carry, when it comes to having insurance, and I will, so I just posted the link when it comes to concealed carry insurance, and I'm gonna do a whole video on this, and if you guys want me to probably do a video on that, if you want me to do a video on this, just comment below and let me know. But this is just like any other insurance that you're going to have. And I'm not going to waste your time and go into a whole spiel on concealed carry insurance or USCCA. What I won't tell you is you have to go with USCCA, because you don't. But what I will tell you is I need you to get insurance for your self-protection. I do not want you carrying a firearm, and if something happens, having to spend a lot of money out of your pocket. And the reason why I decided to share this with you all is because I'm not sure if me and Michael talked about this on the live, which I don't think we did. But when it comes to having to get a lawyer, like all these things are happening unexpected. And I don't have a whole bunch of money in my savings that I just need to go ahead and give up to get a lawyer, or to even possibly deal with a civil suit later, right? So if you have concealed carry insurance, there are so many perks that come along with it. But one of, the major things is being able to have that lawyer on standby. It is literally like your home insurance or your car insurance. With your car insurance, you get into an accident, first thing you're doing is like, you call the police, you have them, they're coming out, you're calling, and you're now contacting your insurance so that they can start going through the motions and getting you the help that you need, right? The resources. It is all about having the resources, and they're not expensive. You can do lump sum payments, you can do monthly payments. I'll be honest, I do monthly payments. It depends on what it is. Sometimes I'll do a lump sum, but with this, I do monthly payments. And I want you to know that it's not something that you just need to cover yourself, but your spouse as well. All right. So me and my spouse both concealed carry. We got each other's back, and we have concealed carry insurance together. So I do want you to know that I'm definitely affiliated with them. But the companies that I'm affiliated with is because I trust them, and I want to be able to bring you guys deals. I want to be able to bring you guys discounts. But when it comes to concealed carry insurance, it's extremely important. Home insurance, car insurance, concealed carry insurance, must, okay? You got to have, you have insurance on the things that you value. Let's just be honest. Marco said, I have an elite membership. Please let us know in the comments below how you like your membership. Richard said, that's the one that I use. Richard has good taste. Jordan said, is there any affordable insurance? So when it comes to insurance, it's just going to be one of those things that you're going to look into the different companies, see the pros and the cons, because someone may want a certain dollar amount and then the next person may want a different dollar amount when it comes to their insurance. So the price depends on a few different things. So you have to check it out. But I did post a comment. Let's see who else. Kermit added, with insurance, it's important to know if you pay the bills first, then get paid back 6 months later. I don't know many people with 10K in a savings account. Yes, absolutely. That is very important. And you want to know a whole lot of things. So that's why you have to do your due diligence and know what's a deal breaker for you and what's not a deal breaker. If you only have 20 bucks a month to spare when it comes to concealed carry insurance, then if it's 20 bucks, then you got to remember there's going to be taxes associated with it. There's going to be other things. So you have to make certain things a priority, because some people don't make things a priority until it's a priority. And then sometimes it's kind of too late. So Michael did share that, Michael Waller did share that he is definitely looking into concealed carry insurance because he had to get a lawyer, and that's just an expense that he didn't plan. And he just had a new baby. And who wants to go through that? Marco said, also, you can call them to get information about certain things. Yes, that is very important to know. It doesn't just come with insurance. This is like, you get USCCA and you get their insurance, and it's like you get like an entire family. Now you're getting videos, you're getting a whole lot of stuff that goes with it. And then the membership will also get you into their convention. And they have an annual convention. They have a pretty good app too, absolutely. So G-Web said there's no insurance for CCW. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's lethal force incident. So if you're using your firearm, and you just have to look into it, but I will definitely do a video on it for those of you guys who do have questions about it. I will do a video and explain kind of why I decided to go with the company that I decided to go with, and also why I decided to get concealed carry insurance. But these are things that are very, very important. If you even thought for 1 second tonight, like, oh, I should probably have concealed carry insurance, then you definitely need to make sure that you get on that. So I posted a link, and I will also post a link in the description letting you guys know about it. I have a giveaway to do. And I also want to share that my next class is the 7th of December. I will be having a intro to pistol and a concealed carry class. So it will be 2 separate classes, but you can take them both in one day if you would like to. So 7th December, and it starts at 11, I think. But concealed carry and an intro to pistol all in one day, you can knock it out. If you have not taken a class, I can promise you that crime will probably increase because the holidays are coming and people are going to get desperate, okay? And then people are going to think that you have more high value items in your home because now it's the holidays and you have these gifts. So if you don't have a way to protect yourself or your family, now is the time. But now is also the time for a giveaway. Last week's giveaway winner did not claim the prize, so guess what? It's back on the market, guys. It is a Glock Perfection hat. And a little range bag. Not really a range bag, I wouldn't call it. Kind of like a little case. But let me show you how big the case is. So if you guys want to be entered to win this, all you got to do is comment giveaway. Let me see how much stuff I can fit in this bag. So it's big enough to put my phone in it. Definitely got to have your O light. Another O light. Look at that, guys. And it's even got a little outside pocket. Get you a little range bag, put a little Glock hat, and you'll be good to go. But yes, guys, I really appreciate all of you who tuned in tonight. This was awesome. There was a lot of good discussion. I love when you guys are interacting because you guys are probably tired of seeing me talk, but I'm also tired of seeing me as well and hearing me too. But Glock bag, hat. And also, if you guys have not entered my Instagram giveaway, so those of you who tune in on YouTube, you guys get like the scoop every week because I go live with you guys and I share. Yeah, thank you, Chico. Items not included. You guys will get my phone and then it's like this screensaver with my kids on it and you're like, who are these kids? But I will also be adding in this sticker. With the giveaway. All right. So on the live, you guys had already seen that I was doing a giveaway for a Glock 17 Gen 3 slide and a barrel. And guess what? It's on Instagram now. And all you have to do is go to the post and follow the directions. I know that may be very hard for some people, but you have to follow the directions in order to win. You have to follow my page and two other companies' page. It's going to be, I'm going to say the name wrong, so I apologize in advance. Safari Precision and Tampa Cerakote Facility. You have to follow them, and you also have to follow me. So you only have to follow 3 companies. And you're definitely going to want to do that because they have some amazing products. But you have to follow them, and then you got to tag 3 friends. So all you got to do, tag 3 of your homies that you want to see how awesome this giveaway is. So hopefully you guys who are on here have seen the giveaway. If you haven't seen the giveaway, go over to Instagram and check it out. And I wanted to let you guys know because sometimes, you know, these algorithms, you guys don't see or hear about certain things. And I want you to definitely get the scoop on it. So it's a giveaway, it's a slide and a barrel, and they are pretty nice. The slide has slide cuts on it, and the barrel has Cerakote on it. The slide has Cerakote on it as well. Have you guys all seen the slide and the barrel? And also, if you guys haven't listened to my podcast, you got to go listen to my podcast. Has everyone entered the giveaway? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend coming up. I wonder if everyone entered the giveaway. And while you're here, make sure that you smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to check out my other videos on my channel too. Make sure that you smash the thumbs up on those. Make sure you drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. If there's other videos that you want to see, you got to let me know, because if you let me know, then I'll do the videos that you guys want me to do versus the videos that I just do because I think you want to see them. I'm going to make some bad mistakes when I get off this live, but they're only associated with chocolate chip cookies. It's only one cookie though. So make sure you smash the thumbs up and you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. You guys are so awesome. All right, so I hope everyone has entered. So let me pick a winner. But please check out my, please check out my website, which is skipstacticalsolutions.com, especially with the holidays coming up. You have to make sure that you check it out and grab something for someone that you love. But I've been working on some really good stuff, guys. I'm so excited. I'm excited / tired. But for those of you who joined from Instagram, which I did a quick Instagram live before I came to YouTube, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I love coming live with you guys. I definitely try to have guests when I can, but you guys have to be patient with me because that takes a lot of work. All right, guys, picking the winner. All right, so the winner of this, all I need you to do is send me an email at skipstacticalsolutions@gmail.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and all of my pages are Skips Tactical Solutions, with your name. I would prefer your government name and your address so that I can get it shipped out to you. And I'm trying to ship this out tomorrow, so the winner for the the winner for the Glock swag is Kermit Loves Bacon. All right. Kermit Loves Bacon. Please reach out so that I can send this to you, but I need your address and information so that I can get this shipped out to you. But I really appreciate each and every one of you that have entered. And if you're a Patreon supporter, I really want to give you a shout out and let you know how much I appreciate you guys for supporting me. For as little as $1 a month, you can support me on Patreon, and that helps me not to spend so much money out of my pocket putting in for all of this, as far as trying to do videos, buying ammo. And I want you guys to know, like, a lot of this stuff isn't free, but I go to the range, shoot the videos, and I have to get my videos edited, and I'm not editing the videos. So thank you so much for my Patreon supporters for supporting me and donating money to help me put out content. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you guys tune in next week. I have been working on some really good interviews, really good content. And if there's something that you want me to do for a live, let me know. If there's someone that you guys want me to interview, let me know. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a happy and a safe weekend. I will see you all back here next week, same time. Have a great weekend, guys.